Collective. In this video, we will be channeling Abraham and we will be discussing the 22 flawed premises. So, like, if we could first understand Abraham being an energy or a spirit that has been seen in different religions at different times. In Hindu, they call Abraham Brahma. In the Old Testament, Judaism, they call it Abraham or Abram. This energy, in fact, is something that can enlighten you and assist you and awaken you along your spiritual journey. And when we talk about things such as channeling and dealing with entities and energies, Black people can definitely do that almost better than anybody. The catch to it, like the thing that is going to be the thing that's going to like hold Black people back from channeling and doing energy work, is the mind control and the ways for which we are not told who we are and what we are, right? We are divine ether beings, Atlanteans, who have had our history stripped from us, our names stripped from us, our language stripped from us. So when we are trying to adapt spiritual processes and we're trying to make our lives better or heal trauma or do our spiritual work or whatever buzzword scam artists and charlatans can place before you, it generally is just something that basically wastes our time. When we get into a space of true spirituality and true gnosis, we are to recover our ancient language, our ancient history, who we truly are as spiritual beings. And one of the entities that you can connect to as a Black person, as a melanated person in America, is Abraham. Now, the reason that I say this is because we are so conditioned to think that, at first, if you're a Black person, your understanding of who you are is a slave, right? You have to worry with your mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather, your neighborhood. Um, you could be a woman or a man and just prone to crash out, babies out of wedlock, poverty, just a whole bunch of shit that you have to think about. So when it comes to channeling an entity, that might be the furthest thing from your mind, the furthest thing from your brain. However, if you could just for 1 second, 2 minutes, an hour, just act like you are not a Black person in America and just act like you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and just imagine that you can channel an entity, right? But the thing is, you want to just focus in on what that entity has to say and receive the messages or downloads from that entity. Now, it's that simple. However, uh, if you looking for something complicated, something hard, something difficult, then it's a million scam artists and charlatans that's going to take your money and waste your time, right? If you don't understand that this work is within, then it gets to, hold you back. So what I'm gonna do is discuss the 22 flawed premises that are in Abraham Hicks' Essential Law of Attraction collection. You can get this book on Amazon. I think it's under like $25. It's a real big book. It has like It is basically the teachings of Abraham in a more or less question and answer format between Jerry and Esther or Abraham Hicks. Now, Abraham Hicks is an entity because Abraham is more of a title, and Hicks just represents the last name of the entity. And if people know me, my real last name, I have a like the my human last name, which is Anthony, but my spiritual last name is Melchizedek. That's just always been my name. And then Abraham would just be the entity that is speaking through me for people to receive the information that they absolutely need to receive at this time. If you're listening, this message is for you. And the people that's not listening, the message is not for them. But we are here at this time where you just have this ability to do all of this magical work. But the flawed premises that are in front of you are going to stop you from doing this magical work. So this could message could come across crass, this message could come across hard. And the reality is like nobody gives a fuck about how you feel. And if you are easily triggered, if you don't want to, go within yourself, if you do not value yourself, if somebody else is the problem, if the white man is the problem, if you're looking for a community, you can join the Discord. Other than that, you have to do this work your own. You have to do your own magic. So when it comes to taking a bath and washing your ass, if I wash my ass, then my ass is clean. If you don't wash your ass still dirty. If you can understand that basic premise, then you can understand spiritual work. You can understand channeling, receiving downloads, and who you are as a spiritual being. If you think that you can give me $1,000 to wash my ass and somehow magically make your ass clean, then you are under some form of delusion. You probably gonna join a cult, right? Because you're a part of this group, meaning that you having spiritual downloads and things like that. That's not true. What makes a spiritual download in a transmission clear and correct is if you do this spiritual work your motherfucking self. That's the end all be all. So whatever it takes to get there, you could take the herbs, do the plant medicine, do the meditation, walks in the park. You understand? Sitting by the beach, uh, studying tarot, reading books, taking notes, creating spells, doing spells, burning herbs, making potions, making tinctures, building up your herbal library, building up your actual library, working out, all of this shit. You should be doing this shit for you. And if you're not doing it, chances are you're a part of a spiritual community that's saying you don't have to do the work. The work is give me all of your resources. And so you gotta actually begin to break spells. That's the number one thing. And trust me, you know a spell when people is draining your energy. And the reason that people drain your energy is because of flawed premises. So, what is a flawed premise? A flawed premise is a logical fallacy. It make all the sense in the world, right? To say it, but the end all result is not going to be what you hope to be. So, an example of a logical fallacy is do everything that a woman wants you to do. Whatever she say, just do it, right? That makes sense, right? You think you love a girl, so you do everything she wants you to do, but then she turn around and say, I don't think this is gonna work. And you say, why, babe? I think you too nice. I thought I was supposed to be nice. I thought I was supposed to do everything you wanted me to do. Yeah, I want a man that's gonna be able to tell me no. See, that's a logical fallacy because the logic is please her in every way and she'll return that love to you. But the reality is, she might want a man that say, no, that's not a good idea, and stand on that. So you got to understand that life is that way. Life is not what you think it is, especially when it comes to you being a spiritual being. So let's deal with the first flawed premise, and it's 22. So I'm not gonna take a long time in developing these points, but I feel like this would be a fun exercise to specifically exercise demons in thought forms. And if you could specifically key in and remove the flawed premise, or reverse the thinking, or remove the fallacy from the logic, and deal with the actual truth, then you will be able to specifically hone in to your spiritual light and your spiritual understanding in this moment. When we talk about manifestation, we're talking about 17 seconds of holding on to your vibration, right? Every other vibration that brings sadness, that brings shame, that brings embarrassment, that brings downfalls, is a result of you not honing into your soul. So the first flawed premise is, I am either physical or non-physical, either dead or alive. So that's the first flawed premise, to say that I am living and I'm afraid of death, right? I am a person that's just alive and existing. That's a flawed premise. You are living and dead, because the consciousness that exists before birth, before you enter into existence through the fetus of your mom, you existed as consciousness. That consciousness that exists before you are born is going to exist forever. So today we're just going to have a deep spiritual conversation, so you can have a deep spiritual understanding outside of any understanding that exists in the world. Because if you don't get the foundational understanding, every other understanding is going to go in one ear out the other, and you're not going to be able to actually grasp it. So, what do you have to do? You have to understand that your consciousness before birth, it exists. When you are born, that same consciousness that represents life before life is going to exist with you your whole existence through life. And then when you transition, that consciousness that existed before life is going to exist when you transition. Thus, the consciousness that exists when you transition is going to be the consciousness that exists now. And as long as you can hold on to that resonance, as long as you can hold on to that truth, you will always stay connected to your feeling of who you are. That feeling that, so if something happened fucked up in this life, that consciousness is not going to be always, not never, attached to it, because it's so powerful. And so that part of you that's so powerful, you can tap into that energy right now, in this moment, in this second. You can tap into your all powerful energy. The only thing that the problem when we trying to discuss spirituality with human beings, they kind of like goldfish, right? They easy to forget. So the reminder, the reason why it's so important to share, the reason why it's so important for people to create content, to remind people that, oh shit, I have a soul. Oh shit, I need to feel in this vibration in this time. So you are physical and non-physical. You have a vessel. You also have a soul. You are either dead or alive. That soul represents who you are when you are before you are born, and also after you are born. This is your soul. This is something that represents death. And of course, it also represents life, because it animates your vessel. Number two, my parents, because they were here long before I was born, And because they are my parents, know better than I do what is right or wrong for me. So, one of the biggest, most powerful transformations that an individual could ever go under is the reality that your parents do not control, they have no say so whatsoever on any form, spectrum, in any space time continuum, in any stretch of the imagination. They have nothing to say in reference to what is good for you at any level, as a toddler, and it's a ruler thing. It's like a dictatorship, right? Your parents can put on any clothes they want to put on you as a baby. That don't make it right. Your parents can feed you any food. That don't make it right. 10 times out of 10, you don't feed your children in the way that they soul wants them to be fed. But because you have that autonomy, because you have that dictatorship, you giving your kids bacon and shit like that. And it's cool. No judgment. But the reality is you can't feel as a parent that what you do in reference to your kids is right because you can do it. And vice versa. You can't feel that your mom and dad have a say so over you at any level. They're never giving you good information. Your parents never give you good information. Your soul is the only person that's going to give you good information in reference to the information that's going to better you. You're going to waste a lot of time trying to cross rationalize and cross reference the expectations that your parents have for you, which are based in their selfish desires and needs, first and foremost. Like, when we talk about two things, humanity, which is your mom and dad having sex, creating you, which is animalistic, it doesn't really require any intelligence. Thus, 10 times out of 10, your parents are idiots. They just happen to have sex and you just happen to exist. So, once you have that baseline, then you come to another reality that the only thing that's going to sustain me is my intelligence, is my cosmic understanding, my emotional intelligence, my ability to perceive my soul. And then we want to differentiate thoughts from the soul. Because once you establish this baseline that your parents can only help you but so far in life, then the rest is on you. Then you then have to differentiate your thoughts from your soul. So your thoughts are something that you don't have to develop or train or grow or foster or nurture or take a lecture or go through a lecture to formulate. These things just happen naturally, abundantly, on repetition, nonsense bullshit that plays on and on in your mind. 70,000 thoughts a day at max not at minimum for most people. So when we deal with the soul, this is what you got to do lectures for. You got to drink herbs. You got to take plant medicine. You got to take walks in the park. You got to motherfucking get a reading. You got to understand your chart. You got to do so much to cultivate your soul that the ideas that flower from the cultivation of your soul are not destructive. So one thing would be a child having an understanding of his soul, which would be rare. But then you also deal with the formulation of the soul, because this is a healing journey. Well, in order to be upon a healing journey, you have to deal with wounds, because you cannot heal something that doesn't need healed. So, therefore, addressing your personal wounds and actually healing those wounds brings about your chironic understanding of life, which then brings about the development or the necessity of the soul to then remove the just random thoughts that come from nothing, to then deal with the spiritual thoughts that come from the cultivation and effort, that it's not easy to cultivate a soul. It's easy to think and to have thoughts. Therefore, the me saying it is not as easy. It's easier said than done. So you just got to be very clear on that, because you can then disrespect your parents and you're living in their house, right? And that's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about, so, well, why am I still living with my mom and dad and this, that, and the third? Because you haven't recognize those wounds. Like, you still blaming your parents, and you still holding energy against your parents. And see, that's a whole nother thing. So it's one thing to say, I'm gonna get out here, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and and it's tough, but if you rely upon your soul, you will be all right. Like, it's tough, but you will be all right. But if you don't really rely on your soul and you rely on your parents, then you kind of like delaying the work. You delaying the cultivation of the soul. And it might sound good, it might feel good, but you know if you're not doing the work, you know if you holding things against your parents, you know if you depending on your parents in the same way you did when you was a kid, right? You know the burden that you put on your parents. So if you put in any type of burden on your parent, then you're not actually ready. You're not actually dealing with the logical fallacy that's in your mind. You depending on these motherfucking strangers to take care of you. Your parents are strangers. Your parents are two random people out of the kindness of their hearts sheltered you for 16 to 18 years free of charge. That's a benefit to you. If you lived in a circumstance where maybe you didn't have the best of the best, but you made it to a certain level in a certain point. Give me 1 second, family. I'll be right back. So if your parents have fostered you to a certain point, 16 to 18, like they told you to get the fuck out the house or whatever, that's a benefit. Then you say, but mom, I still need more. But dad, I still need more. Dad, can I borrow 50? Mom, can I borrow 50? I need to come back. You keep pulling from their energy. That's a conscious choice that you're making. From 14 on up, right? From 1 to 7, they forming you. From 7 to 14, you're learning yourself. From 14 up, you can make a conscious choice to say, should I pull on my parents' energy or can I pull on my soul's energy? At 14, you can start playing basketball for 10 hours a day. You can start playing piano for 10 hours a day. And you could be 14 years old playing your fucking piano 14 hours a day. What you doing? You not pulling on your parents' energy. So what? Your mom and dad fucking playing Sudoku, fucking bingo, doing whatever the fuck they want to do, right? They ain't got to worry about your pissy ass. Mom and dad, can I borrow $20? I want to go to the club tonight. I want to go to the mall. Mom, you don't never do anything for me. This is not your parents' fault because you hold negative energy towards them, or you depend on them, or they made a mistake, or people be mad at their parents because their parents smoke crack. That ain't your concern, sir or ma'am. That's not your responsibility. That's their life. If they wanted to smoke crack, if they made the conscious decision to go get a motherfucking 8 ball, that don't got nothing to do with you. What you doing at your job interview talking about, yeah, I had to make it out of my mom's house and my mom smoked crack? Like, that don't got shit to do with you. Even if your mom's successful, if your mom is a fucking millionaire, you can't go into the job interview, yeah, my mom's a millionaire, so motherfucker, I don't give a shit. Who are you? What do you do? Yeah, I'm just my mother's child, you know? I'm just living out her life. Like, no. A logical flawed premise, a logical fallacy is rooted in this relationship between parents and children. And a lot of spiritual people, they be wanting to get a reading about shit. They be trying to get shit problem solved. And the reality is that they need to do a cord cutting ritual between their mom. Period. You need to cut that motherfucking cord, fam. If you never did a cord cutting ritual, guess what? You still connected. And the thing about the energy transfer from the sacral chakra between the mom and the parent, that energy, bro, that energy get backed up. That energy get dirty. That energy it's not maintained or maintenance, and it's something that's like it needs to be cut anyways. Same way, you don't never see nobody walking out here. You have never seen, as close as you seen motherfuckers be, mom and he a mama's boy and all of this shit. You ain't never seen a nigga still connected to the umbilical cord of his mama. A grown ass man, a baby, or nothing. That's something that gets cut immediately. So at what point do you energetically cut that cord? So let's go over the flawed premise number 2 and then reassess and readjust and reset and come back into our spiritual minds and spiritual hearts. My parents, because they were long before I was born and because they are my parents, know better than I do what is right or wrong for me, right? These are energetic mistakes that human beings make in reference to no work being done on clearing that energy. So now you trying to do this, that, and this, and that. And the one thing is your mama and dad probably need you for shit. And the two things is that they telling you what to do. I'm sorry, but them two things can't exist in my world. You can either tell me what to do or you gonna need me for shit. Cause if you gonna tell me what to do, then I obviously need something from you. Therefore, I'm allowing you to tell me what to do. But if you need something from me, whatever it is, time, energy, resources, then I'm not about to listen to you. Cause if I'm listening to you energetically, I'm going to diminish my resources. Cause who are you? If you need something, you should be able to manifest it, because the reality of the spiritual work is that everybody have a soul, everybody have a power center within themselves, and you can bear witness to this. Just walk outside in your neighborhood or your town, you will see houses and homes and people with cars, 2 cars, basketball courts, furniture, fucking kitchen room tables in every home, libraries, big flat screen TVs, man caves, goddamn carpet, walls painted, fucking ring lights, all types of cool shit. Niggas is doing all right in the world because everybody have a soul. If your life is fucked up, who you blaming? Your parents? Because they ain't raised you right? That's not spiritual development. You got to get over that. So let's go into 3. If I push hard enough against unwanted things, they will go away. Let's deal with this section by section because this needs to be examined, because these are the conversations that a person would have. If I push hard enough, pushing hard enough is protection rituals, love magic, money magic. Why? Because this is an unwanted thing. I'm doing a protection spell because I don't want to be violated. I'm doing a money spell because I don't want to be broke. I'm doing a love spell because I don't want to be single and lonely. So as bad as I don't want to experience whatever I don't want to experience will be the effort that I put into my spiritual work. This is a flawed premise. Because the more you doing the love spells, the more you realizing, yeah, you might meet somebody, but then they out of your life like that. The more you doing the money spells, yeah, you might manifest $10, but then your bill is for $12. Yeah, you might do a protection spell, but you know, that motherfucker still ain't got no boundaries. You still ain't got no boundaries for real. Still violating your space. So what does the work represent? If you doing emergency magic, if you doing preventative magic, if you just trying to try, and the reality is that you're not dealing with the core wound that would enact healing. The body automatically heals, but it's going to heal a wound. It's not just going to heal anything. So if you are lonely and you do love magic, you gotta not do the love magic. You gotta deal with the fact that you lonely. So how does a person deal with the fact that they lonely? You surrounded by spirits. Spirits can be invoked. Spirits can be evoked. So if you wanna experience people around you, get in tune with the spirits around you. You got ancestors. You got pictures of ancestors. You can download, print those pictures of ancestors, put them on your altar. Look at those, work with those ancestors, talk to those ancestors, feed those ancestors, start imagining those ancestors, transition. What deity would your ancestor be at this particular point? Start working, venerating that ancestor, turn that ancestor into a deity. You said you lonely, but now you got all of these ancestors around you. Now you got all of these spirits around you. Now you got all of these books. You can read a fiction book and get caught into the characters. Do something, but don't say, I'm lonely. Let me do work that's going to remove the loneliness. When you do a 12-step program, the first step is figuring out the root cause of it, right? What is the disease? And then admitting this is what I'm suffering from. If you don't admit what you're suffering from, loneliness, inability, not being able to manifest something, or whatever the case may be, constantly making the wrong decisions, whatever that is, address that. It's referencing you. So let's deal with this flawed premise again. If I push hard enough against unwanted things, they will go away. No, that's not true. Number 4, I have come here to live the right way of life and to influence others to the same right way of living. And trust me, we talking about cults and and you know, like a lot of the shit is like regurgitation of something that sounds good. But the reality of who you are is not what you talking about. So it's not a morality thing. It can be a morality thing if you think it's a morality thing, but this is a flawed premise. Because what tends to happen, like let's go through this real quick. Let's go on a time machine trip, because I'm like a historian to this shit. At a certain point, I was here when this shit began, and I'm seeing this shit end. Okay, let's deal with carbonation. Let's deal with Eligio Bishop. Now I'm a paraphrase because Mans was putting out 8-hour videos every day. Eligio Bishop said the way that he was living was the right way to live. Eligio Bishop was in Costa Rica, Honduras, in the trees, in the forest, and he had a community of people that assumably loved him, and they was the right way of living. And he said, you know what? Since I'm living the right way, y'all come down here and live right with me. So the ups and the downs and the turmoil of a person that, you can't just, up and go and live in different countries. That's not something that you can just do. So regardless if you spiritual, not spiritual, black, white, visa, non-visa, it's just certain boundaries and parameters and certain financial responsibilities to the principalities for you to even begin to even say, all right, I'm going to live in Costa Rica. Now, if a person is online saying, yeah, you could just do it like this and do it like that, you're going to get yourself fucked up. But that's besides the point. What began to happen was that the man said that he was living the right way, and he invited people to come live with him. Now, if he was dead ass wrong or he was dead ass right, is not the truth. It's not the point of it. Because it doesn't matter what type of man you is. The saying is familiarity breeds contempt. So it ain't nothing that can escape that statement. Familiarity breeds contempt. So the same people that he invited to live right with him is the same people on the stand testifying in front of the judges and the jury saying, yes, he did this to me, he did that to me, he kept me like a slave, so forth, so on, over and over and over and over and over again, to at the end of it, yesterday, they sentenced the man to life in parole because he was living the right way. So if you was to fast forward 8 years ago and you said, damn, Nature Boy living it up. He doing it right. He living in Honduras, Costa Rica. He got 4 wives. He's living the right way. You'd have found yourself in a cult 8 years later doing fucking podcast interviews talking about how this man was such a bad person. So be wary of people that's living the right way and trying to influence you to live that right way of living. Wherever you at, whatever you doing, if you living in a cardboard box, if you living in a hotel, you living in a 1-bedroom apartment, you living in a single family house, you living in a mansion, you living in acres, you living on a farm, wherever you living, your soul is telling you that this is where you're supposed to be living right now. And you can influence a person to live in a cardboard box, to live in a hotel, to live in a 1-bedroom apartment, to live in a mansion, to live in a single family household, to live in all of these particular things. But what would be the point of that when we all have a soul? So the thing about spiritual development is what you develop into is teaching is like 10% of who you are. 90% of who you are is just learning who you are. And if you spend 90% of learning who you are and 10% of teaching others to do that same thing, you in good company. So let's continue. Number 5. Because I am older than you, I am wiser than you, and therefore you should allow me to guide you. The conscious community, the spiritual community have a real big elder problem where these elders have contributed nothing to nothing, right? Because if I took a, not disrespectful or bad, but if I took a bath 5 years ago, y'all wouldn't be talking about the bath that I took 5 years ago. If I took a bath 10 years ago, y'all wouldn't be talking about the bath that I took 10 years ago. If I took a bath 20 years ago and I said, man, I took an amazing bath 20 years ago, y'all would say, that's amazing, brother, but today your ass stink. Your ass need to take a shower today. It is nobody that is an elder that's wiser than you in this moment, because you have a soul that's going to awaken you in this moment. The false premise is when you listen to an old ass person suffering from mental illness, degradation of the mind. So you listen to an old person basically lose their shit. Guess what that's going to make you do? Lose your shit. And people say, "Hood, you shouldn't be saying this. You wrong for this. That's not right." The problem with a real conversation is that it's going to trigger you. So whenever you prepare to listen to the truth and learn information, you gotta attack your cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is your ability to learn new information without rejecting it because you think you know every fucking thing. So we talking about a logical fallacy. You can listen to an old person all you want, but they ain't gonna give you the right advice. They gonna tell you to get a telephone and watch it on a VCR. You don't even know where to get a VCR from. You got a VCR, that shit won't even connect to your motherfucking flat screen. But this old motherfucker say I need to watch this VCR tape. This old motherfucker say I need to get a 1969 Dodge Chevelle. Well, they don't even make that car no more. The old person said I was supposed to get it. The old person, we got y'all saying that Joe Biden and fucking Donald Trump, because they old, should be the presidents. Because they old. Don't it make more sense to get somebody younger and have more wits about themselves that can handle the responsibility of fucking running a country, if we wanted to look at it from a logical point of view? But the fallacy, the false premise is that because Donald Trump and fucking Joe Biden is old, that make them wise, and we should acquiesce to their authority. We should respect their executive decisions. That to me is a false premise. So let's go into 6. Who I am began the day I was born into my physical vessel. As I stated in logical fallacy number 1, or flawed premise number 1, who you are existed before you were born. Meditation is simply to connect with that version of yourself. If you do not meditate, you are connected to the human version of yourself. The human version of yourself is the slight chance, the 1 in a million chance that your mom and dad had up and down sex and brought you into the world. That's your physical vessel. Who you are as a spiritual being, you existed before you entered your physical vessel. So that's like pretty explanatory. Number 7, with enough effort or hard work, I can accomplish anything. The reality of that is, no, the fuck, that's not true. Effort and hard work and biting cement is only going to leave you with chipped tooth. But you said, if I can just bite through cement, I can find me a crystal. Effort and hard work and doing the wrong exercises, you ain't going to find no strength, no gains. You just going to be looking dumb, wasting your time. And you will feel good, man. At least I'll go to the gym. But you ain't even doing shit. You can't even feel yourself getting stronger. You just go into the gym. And you working hard, putting in the effort. So The best thing to do when you go to the gym, if you've never been trained before, like you don't have to always have a trainer, but it's good to at least have one trainer for a long period of time so you can at least get an understanding of what it means to work out and all of this type of stuff. But most people just go to the gym and just try to figure it out on their own, but work hard at trying to figure it out on their own. So with enough effort and hard work, you can accomplish anything. So if I give you the tools to make a house and you put in effort and hard work to building that house, but you don't know how to build the house, that effort and hard work is all in vain. So what does this have to do with spiritual understanding? The ability to meditate is not hard because it is just you tuning in to who you are, receiving the instructions. Every moment you are living out your soul's instructions. Nothing about that is hard and requires a lot of effort. But the ability to manifest your dreams, to accomplish what you want out of life, is not a hard endeavor. It's as simple as listening to your soul's instruction. So, what's the hard part of it? The hard part is doing everything that you think that you need to be doing at this particular moment, but that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So, you can be at a job right now working hard, and why are you working hard? Sometimes people just work hard because it's in their nature to work hard. But why do you really just work hard at this job and do the things that you need to do for this job? And then they fire your ass. So you was just working so hard for nothing. So when you find yourself, or another example, you ever be in a relationship with somebody and it's like you got to work hard for them to love you or to be happy or to be in a vibe with you. You working hard to be as compatible with somebody, to be in sync with somebody. You working hard to establish this thing, and then eventually the relationship don't work out. And then you get with somebody else and it's just easy and it just flow and it just work and it's just not hard work. You're not happier with somebody that you just flow with. Man, it's just so easy, but I just want somebody that's gonna make me work hard. It don't work like that. So spiritually, you know spiritually, you know what is that thing. Like you know if it's easy, right, right and exact, in flow, in unison, what you need it to be. You know intuitively, and you also know when you on some complete and total bullshit. Cause you working hard at the job, they not giving you credit, they not giving you a raise, they like you work hard today, tomorrow they give you five more things to do instead of saying good job type shit. You know you on some bullshit. You know it's bullshit where you taking her out to eat. Listen, you taking her out to eat, you doing all of this fly shit for her and she not giving you no pussy. You wasting your motherfucking time, bro. You wasting your time. If you show up and she like, we can go out to eat or not go out to eat. We could just, just stay here and just chill and maybe fuck later. I don't know, just depending on the vibe. I really like you. And when I really like a man, I give him some pussy. You like, well, this is easy. I might fuck with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just common sense. So let's just go to the next one. Number 8. To be in harmony with another, we have to want and believe the same things. That's a false premise, right? And you really see it in business, right? When you like just because Detroit is so many businesses, right? So many businesses in Detroit. So many establishments, Jewish, Arabian, African American, black, white, just so many businesses, right? And so when you when you think about it, it's all of the businesses in Detroit, and then if you like expand the landscape to the surrounding suburbs, You have so many nice areas and so many like different houses and beautiful homes and churches and schools and stuff like that. So all of the money that's being made in Detroit is being funneled out to the surrounding suburbs and stuff like that. And then bringing back to the business, like a successful business is not ran by one person. It's ran by multiples of people, and these multiples of people have to put their pride to the side, right? They have to put their ego on hold and say, we're going to focus all of our energy on this mutual goal, make the money on, and split it down the middle, and then go about our ways. Now, for the business to be what it needs to be, motherfuckers, they got different priorities and different things they want to get into. But the goal is the business, and the goal is getting money. Maybe I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm this, I'm that. All right, I don't give a fuck about what God you pray to. We starting a Kroger's, okay? And we about to give these niggas some cheap ass groceries, some low quality foods, right? If the meat is brown, we'll color it red. Yes. I'm from Africa. Hey, come in. Yeah, we starting this bullshit ass grocery chain. We all gonna do what we need to do to make this Kroger's be the best thing ever. We gonna give these people the most shittiest food ever. Yes. Good idea. But I am a Muslim. We don't care. I'm a Baptist. We don't care. Hey guys, I'm gay. Hey, we don't care. We don't care. Right? So you could also say in relationships. This people like I'm basically the only person on the planet that's gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If a person is in tune with their soul, they can be with anybody. If a person is not in tune with their soul, they picking and choosing the person that they need to be with. They trying to cross-reference and explain why they couldn't be with their ex and why this didn't work out and how they wasn't a good person and they cheated on me and he was a bad person and this, that, and the third and we didn't believe in the same things. We didn't have the same ideologies. We wasn't compatible. We didn't have the right chemistry. See, all of these are indications that you're not in tune with your soul. To be in harmony with another means that you are in harmony with yourself. And when you are in harmony with yourself, it'll teach you how to navigate and move in a room full of vultures. Number 9, the path to my joy is through my action. I need to get a hard or paperback copy of Liber Null in the Psychonaut. And what gnosis is understanding. Gnosis is knowing. The path to joy is gnosis, and knowing is not inducive or indicative of an action. It's indicative of simply knowing that you have the divine spark. And it's easy to forget because this world is 99.9% automatons. They only understand who they are through their soul, not through their soul, through their physical vessel. Because when we talk about this soul and spiritual work, it's effort. So you don't spontaneously awaken into your soul. You have to be intentional about your soul, or else you're wasting time. You're wasting energy because your soul has the answers. Not nothing else, not your group, not your community, not your guru, not your teacher, not your leader, not your husband, not your wife, not your kids, not your mom, not your dad. The person that have the answers for you is you. So if you don't like your husband, if you hate your husband, you can't stand your husband, it don't have shit to do with your husband. It have everything to do with your inability to do the work to like your soul, to like yourself. Because even if you do not like your husband, your soul will then give you the strategy to get the fuck away from the nigga if you don't like him. Why would you then say I don't like you and then just sit in that energy of not liking a person? Number 9 was the path to my joy is through action. And no, the path to the joy is through gnosis, through understanding, through knowing. Knowing comes from the fact that you are the divine spark. And we say these things because these things are easily forgotten. Number 10, I cannot have everything I desire, so I have to give up some things that are important to me in order to get others. You can have everything you desire. Matter of fact, your soul knows what you desire because the things that you desire come from the soul. But how much time, energy, and effort do you spend on getting the instructions on how to get what you desire? Giving up some things that are important to you, see if it's important to you, why do you give it up? Do everything that's important to you. And this is goes back to the last false premise where you with somebody and you can't be yourself. If you ever in a relationship and you can't be yourself, it's just a ticking time bomb. It's going to blow up eventually. And your spirit or soul is going to move you into a situation where you're going to be with somebody that you can be yourself with, even if it's by yourself. Because when you are who you are, and you with a fucking person that's possessed, when you are yourself, a person gonna be mad. Every time that you yourself, you will notice when you happy, your partner is upset because your partner is in tune to you and not in tune to themselves. So this goes into this false premise. So I have to give up some things that is important to me. You got to get over that. If it's important to you, keep it. And if it's a problem with somebody else around you, then that problem is something that they need to figure out within themselves. 11. If I leave an unwanted situation, I will find what I'm looking for. It all resorts back to the fact that everything is within yourself. So false premise 9, it actually goes back to false premise 8. To be in harmony with another, we have to want to believe into the same things. No, to be in harmony with another, you have to be in harmony with yourself. So the unwanted situation, although it might be something that's unwanted and whatever the case may be, the false premise is that once you leave, it's going to be better now. But if you leave a bad situation, you taking the reason that that situation was bad with you into a new situation because you are the reason that it was a bad situation. So since you were the reason that it was a bad situation, when you have a bad toxic relationship, the main component to that toxic relationship is you. So when you get out of that toxic relationship and you begin a new relationship, the same components that created a toxic relationship is going to be in the same cup. And it's going to be another toxic relationship. And then you're going to get into another relationship and it's going to be so until you get into a toxic relationship and you turn that toxic relationship into an untoxic relationship, then every other relationship is to be toxic because the false premise is this relationship is toxic, I need to leave. And the reason you think you need to leave is because once you leave the toxic situation, you will be good. But the facts is you're not going to find what you're looking for in a new situation. You can find what you're looking for within yourself, regardless of the situation. This is the power of the soul. Number 12, there is a finite container of resources that we are all dipping into with our requests. No, there is an unlimited, infinite pool of resources that if you tap into, it will become available to you. But once again, we're talking about being conscious and intentional about what's really happening down here. If the government is printing money, so can you. There are things that you can do that is basically essentially you printing money. When you have a skill, talent, ability, and you share it with the world, you are printing money. If you have a sexy body that God gave you, a sexy vessel, a sexy container, and you a stripper or exotic dancer, and you go and dance and slide up and down a pole and people make it rain on you, you are printing money. If you have a voice and you can sing a beautiful song and you can figure out to monetize your merch and do live performances, you are printing money. Now, your skills, talents, and abilities are one level. Another level is the reality that there is an unlimited, infinite pool of money that can start at you cleaning toilets, cleaning bathrooms, be the number one bathroom cleaner in your city, be the number one trash collector in your city, have a dumpster business. You drop dumpsters off and pick dumpsters up, like solve real problems, and you will get real money. See, the biggest issue is your passion and what you really want to do. And 10 times out of 10, your passion and what you really want to do is some broke nigga shit. Now, when you solve real world problems and people say, damn, I got this problem, can you solve it? I'll give you an unlimited amount of money. As long as you solve this problem, as long as you help me out a little bit, I'll always give you money. See, the problem is if you can't tap into that, you going to be out here talking about I'm passionate about some shit that I don't even know about, but I'm passionate about it, and it's niggas that's actually motherfucking knowing what they talking about and been doing it for years, already established the fucking the parameters, and you trying to squeeze into some shit, and everybody want to do what they passionate about. Everybody want to do what they passionate about, but it's only the small few that's going to solve problems of their fellow men. And if you look around, take a ride through your neighborhood, you can just write down problems and then journal how you can solve those problems. If you can create a clear understanding and understanding with between your soul and your conscious mind, you can take that problem, that solution, and formulate a business and duplicate, 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 replicate, 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 copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Always attract new customers, always attract new leads, because you are the person that's going to be the one that's going to solve their problems. Number 13, there are right ways and wrong ways to live. There are a right way. No, there is no right way to live. There is no wrong way to live. We are all here living. We are all here existing in a space-time continuum that we have to rely on people's words for it of what this space-time continuum is. And at the same time, we have a soul that's willing to communicate to us, willing to actually help us and assist us. But it doesn't happen randomly. We have to take the time out of the day to light a candle, to center our thoughts, to hone our thoughts, to fixate our thoughts, to vibrate on a higher, realistic, spiritual plane. Not a fake plane, but a realistic spiritual plane. And from there, whatever your soul tells you to do is not whether it's right or wrong. It's just because you always want to have this certain level of, I guess the word would be brevity about it. Because whenever you is just like one side where I just know this man is going to be the man that I'm going to be with forever, and I ain't going to never find another man like this, and you just met him, and y'all haven't resolved conflict, y'all don't really know each other, but you got this feeling in your heart and you just know that this is the right one for you. Or you ever been on a date with a motherfucker and it's your first date and the nigga just fart, so you just like, damn, I just know he ain't the one for me. This nigga just farted, he could never be the one for me. He farted, hood, like, but that don't mean nothing. We all fart. So there are no right ways or wrong ways to live. We just gotta kind of like be on this straight and narrow, this balance, this tightrope. There is a God who, having considered all things, has come to a final and correct conclusion about everything. That's a false premise. There is a God who, having considered all things, see, spiritual development and spiritual work is a necessity, because it's not to say that there is no God, right? Because we can bear witness to some form of intelligence that have created the world that we live in. However, that God could very well be a human being who exits out of their conscious mind and enters into the integration of their subconscious and superconscious. That could be very well could be God, magician, and sorcerer. But it's us having the always constant false premise cognitive dissonance that we are just this human being that don't know shit. So it might not be a God outside of us making every rule, every parameter. However, there may be a higher conscious or a super conscious or a super fragilistic ispialidocious within ourselves that would help us unite our super and subs to become, Jared Fogle. Number 15. You cannot know, while you are still in your physical body, the true reward or punishment for your physical actions. Well, that's an easy one. We can look at Nature Boy. We can look at Brother Polite. We can look at Puff Daddy. Uh, we can look at Puff Daddy and see that whatever the case may be, deserving or undeserved, there is a level of reward or punishment for doing the things. I know that working out every day or as much as I can, I feel the reward in my physical vessel, just going outside or just living life or anything. I just overall feel like a better motherfucker. That's a reward, because I could feel worse for not working out. So that's a pretty easy one. 16. By gathering data about the manifestations or results of the way people of the earth have lived or are living, we can definitely sort them into absolute piles of right and wrong. And so this is where people get fucked up at when they're like, right side of history, right? Um, the Egyptians were good. The Romans were good. All of these things about history, and we wasn't there, and we don't actually know. And I would say something, but I want to get the channel flagged. But you know how people be right now with this war, um, or whatever is happening over there. But yeah, it is like a thing that's happening in this world where you gotta like choose sides. And choosing sides, what I've learned with this COVID thing, and where it was like, I'm gonna choose this side and I'm gonna choose that side, and whatever side you chose, it just allowed for people to get into a war of words, a war of families. You know, I know relationships that broke up over, is you getting this or if you getting that. So it's almost natural for you to choose a side and to think that you're right and then they're wrong. And the like it's like what spiritual people do to amass an audience. So I got an audience of people that's listening to what I'm saying. So I'm gonna say shit that is right according to my audience. Like, people will say, like, hood, you can't really talk about women in a way or talk about dating in a way because that's not spiritual, or something is wrong. But it's like, how you gonna tell me in reference to an ain't shit bitch? Like, I don't care. I know that's not a right thing to say, but it's a truthful thing. Bitches be out here on some ain't shit. Like, that just be real. And if you be like, well, don't say nothing, or whatever the case may be, then you gonna be a type of person just existing with a motherfucker that's ain't shit for no reason, all because it ain't right to say. Now, if a man ain't shit and we don't say nothing, that's like fucking a sin. Like, why you ain't say nothing? Like, you gonna suffer in silence? Don't suffer in silence, sis. If that nigga ain't shit, let the world know. And niggas get on fucking platforms, yell to the fucking rooftops. He cheated on me. Who the fuck did I marry? This nigga ain't nothing. I can't believe. Well, he did pay all the bills. That's why I stayed. All I'm saying is, where the niggas at that's paying all the bills? Cause I wanna date them. Number 17. Only very special people, like the founder of our group, can receive the right message from God. No, there is no such thing. There is no such thing as special people. A special person is going to require you to focus your energy on them. And now you want somebody that's going to focus in on you because you special. You're supposed to focus in on your soul. That person's supposed to focus in on their soul. Everybody have a soul, and whatever their soul is leading them through, that's what your soul is leading you through. I'm talking about channeling in a space where we all can channel. That's my message. If I can't channel, then you can't channel. If I can channel, then you can channel. We all can channel. And if we all can't channel, then you in a group of niggas that can't channel. I'm not in no group where I'm the only nigga that can channel. I'm not a part of no group like that. Even if niggas think that I'm in a part of a group like that, I'm still not in that group with niggas. If a nigga put me on a pedestal, think that I'm special, I'll just back out. Cause I can't even tell a nigga that I'm not special. Oh, you just saying that. No, for real, I ain't shit. I'm still trying to figure out how I don't got a hangover. Like I'm not really not like I'm not I am not the one. I'm not Neo. I'm not. It's no ego when it comes to this spiritual shit. And the reason that it's no ego, I gotta say some shit like, yeah, these hoes ain't shit out here. I gotta say that. Because it's easy not to say it so motherfuckers can dick ride. Hood, you really is the one out here. You not like these other men. No, I'm just like these niggas calling women out on bullshit. Cause whatever situation that been laid out have created a negative situation for everybody. And niggas is sitting here trying to examine some shit. Cause if you show me fake shit and then say it's real shit, then you deceiving me. I said if you show me fake shit and you tell me that it's real shit, that is the definition of deception. Only very special people like the founder of our group can receive the right message from God. If ever, if ever you are in a situation where a nigga is saying, I am the leader of such and such, and you need to follow me, and you need to be a part of this and follow my orders and follow my rules. That's a false premise. There is no such thing as a very special person. There's only people that have souls that's come down here to be reacquainted with their souls. Whenever you start to micromanage or macromanage or say, well, this nigga need to be doing more of this, these niggas need to be doing more of that, she need to be doing more of this, he need to be doing this, that, and the third, then you just gonna have to sit back and just be like, well, if you say so, but I'm gonna still do me. And even more so, right? If I heard a bunch of motherfuckers saying niggas do not take care of their kids, niggas do not take care of their kids, I wouldn't take offense to that because I take care of my kids. So I would never be like, well, that sucks. So if you ever in a situation where somebody's saying something based on their experience and don't have shit to do with you, then allow that to be that. Because whatever that person is experiencing, whatever that person is vocalizing, they soul want them to vocalize that shit. Don't make them a special person. Don't make you less special. If it is a contrary point that you want to set out, then you should use your platform to say the contrary point. That's what I do. If I hear some shit that I don't like, I don't get on that person's platform and start talking to them and saying shit to them. I'll just get on my own platform and say whatever the fuck I want to say and use it as my form of therapy. I don't think that it's a wave on YouTube. I just think that you should be able to do what you want to do and say what you want to say, and that's the end of it. Because you never know who's going to be listening to you, who needs to hear what you have to say. So, Number 18. By ferreting out the undesirable elements in our society, we can eliminate them. Damn, what movie was I watching? I can't even remember. It was a movie with these animals. And it was like they was creating this perfect society, but within that perfect society, it was like these ghettos and these hoods, and they wasn't telling people about these ghettos and these hoods, and they kept trying to recreate the society in reference. And damn, what was that movie? Shit, I can't even think. This was a good movie too. It was like they was creating these animals. I think it might have been. I want to say it was the last. What is that movie with Marvel? And they got like the animal, and they got the green girl. Guardians of the Galaxy. In the last Guardians of the Galaxy, they was doing they had like this Yakubian character. He was a black dude, and he was trying to create the perfect society, and he would have these animals, and he figured out a way to like create these animals, and he would put these animals into a world, and it would be almost perfect, but it would just be always a ghetto. It would always be a hood. And so, like, in all systems, from capitalism, from socialism, a dictatorship, whatever, what they're doing is mind control. And what you can do as a human being is acquiesce to the mind control or say that don't work. So what am I talking about? If the mind control in this country is to get a job, work, save your money, go to banks, most people are going to do that. But in this same society where most people working, going here, going there, is also a level of people that sell dope, sell all types of shit, scam artists, all doing all types of weird shit for money. Millions of people, a lot of people make money illegally. So what that's saying is that if you gonna work every day and try to make it in this system, you it's not like people is forcing you to get a job. Anybody put a gun to your head, told you get a job, fill out application, but you just acquiesce to the mind control because you ain't willing to take the consequences or repercussions that society might hand out because you're not going with the mind control. But it's some people that say, you know what, I don't give a fuck. And it's a lot of people that's in jail because they like, I'm not down with the mind control. And then there's some people that's under the mind control, like, you stupid, you should have been under the mind control so you wouldn't be in jail. But then it's a small or large pocket, you never really know, of people who don't go to jail, live their whole existence not working, but like selling drugs or making thousands of hundreds of dollars a day, laundering that money into a business and then funneling that money into a different part of the country or world. It's a lot of people that live like that. Cause if you think about it, if a nigga just want a drug, any type of drug, he can get it. And that's kind of crazy. Like, Mexican cartels, like they operate like that because it's a demand, and it's just it will blow your mind to actually think about the actual world that we live in. But we not gonna get rid of it. Oh, we not getting rid of it. We gonna have to figure out how to live with it because that's we've been living with it our whole lives, whether we know it or not. Remember in the 90s where niggas was selling crack? Niggas was selling crack and smoking crack in the street. Like, niggas was smoking and selling crack. Like, And nowadays, you ain't seeing too many crackheads, right? You don't see too many crackheads like you used to see. Now they got the fentanyl and that type of deal, but it's always been an element of drug trade and traffic. And then the government said we gonna go a war on drugs, like, and the drugs won, nigga. The drugs won that war. Niggas is still doing drugs to this day. You ever, man, Google what the Mexican cartel niggas look like. They be having on full armor, black goggles, face masks, all black, grenades, grenade launchers with a rifle, couple handguns. Like, these niggas is not even in the military. These niggas is selling drugs, looking more intimidating than your average nigga in the fucking military with his all green beret and shit. Like, I don't think the niggas in the army actually really want smoke with the Mexican cartel. If we want to be honest about it, because if it was going to be an easy dub, don't you think they'd just go through there and wash them boys out real quick? It might not be such an easy dub. Like, the Mexican cartel might even be stronger than the Mexican army, bro. Like, it is real out here. You gonna get rid of it? You ain't getting rid of it. So and the idea of government policing and all of that is acting like they are fighting towards some crime, or like, nah, this shit going down whether we like it or not. So what you going to do? You going to channel your soul, or are you going to acquiesce to what's going on around you? Been going around you. Let's, like, we go back, nigga. 1920s prohibition. They saying, oh, niggas can't drink. Nobody can drink. It's against the law to drink. Niggas started selling liquor, made millions of dollars. But the mind control is you can't drink. You can't drink. The government said you can't own gold. It's illegal for you to own gold. So niggas turned in their gold. Niggas said it's illegal for you to smoke weed. Niggas was smoking weed. Like, what you mean it's illegal? Yeah, you can't do this no more. So, do you think it was gonna stop niggas from smoking weed? No. So, you gotta understand this society in the mind control. And if you following the mind control, or you know how to walk that fucking tightrope. Cause I don't want you to motherfucking join the cartel or nothing like that, but I can tell you the mind control is the mind control for a reason. Number 19. A good relationship is in which the dominant intention of each person involved is to find agreement and harmony with the other. Let's read this again, because this is what y'all looking for and this is what y'all never ever find. This is why you always going to suck at your relationships. Your relationship is never good when you are saying, I want a man that's going to agree with me. I want a woman that's going to agree with me. A good relationship is when one person is following his soul and the other person is following their soul. Period, point blank. If the good relationship is based on you saying, I want a man that I can go on trips with, that I can invest with, that's going to help me raise these kids, that's going to do this, do that, do this, do that, you are going to set yourself up for failure. And this is something that I know, right? You might get into a situation and the shit is chaotic and the shit is inharmonious as fuck. But if you can, at least educate and at least bring the awareness to the partner, man or woman, that look, it's really not about me and you. It's really about you and you. So if you get right with yourself and I get right with myself, we'll be good no matter what. But if I'm holding you to a standard that I can't even hold myself to, if I'm expecting things from you that I can't even do for myself, then I'm a bad person within myself. So of course the relationship is going to be ass, even if I'm getting what I want. So this false actual logical fallacy or false premise that a good relationship is one which the dominant intention of each person involved is to find agreement or harmony with each other, it doesn't bear out. It's not true. But you can imagine it to be, and you'll consistently and constantly crash out. Because I'm telling you, if the relationship is based upon you, man or woman, your partner is pinpoint accuracy focused on you, and they want you to be this person that you may or not be, right? And the moment that you become yourself, which don't fulfill their vision of what they want you to be, they gonna have a problem with your ass. And then what? Number 20. When I focus upon things of a physical nature, I am less spiritual. That is a false premise. That's a false premise, because the most spiritual thing you can do is take care of your motherfucking ass. I'm telling you, it's not better than being the type of person that's able to take care of their motherfucking ass and not have to ask a nigga for shit, not to be dependent on a nigga for shit. And I'm talking about your job, I'm talking about your parents, your relationship, everything, to just be in a space where your soul is telling you what you need to do. And you following those instructions of your soul, that's the best place to be. You so happy in that space. When and that's physical nature. When you take care of the physical nature, when you work out, when you invest time and energy in your living space, when you do the feng shui, when you clean, all of these things are spiritual things. But if you are in the midst of it's motherfuckers with a dirty room talking about what crystals you got. Nigga, it don't fucking matter what crystals I got. Bitch, your room dirty, ho. I don't give a fuck. Don't ask me about no fucking crystals till you clean your room. You on punishment. Motherfuckers talk about what herbs you got. It don't matter what herbs I got. Like, it don't matter. Your room dirty. Motherfucker ain't never worked out talking about I need somebody to love me. You don't love your vessel. You don't love yourself. You don't love your body. You think you better? You think you better than a motherfucker not working out because you don't work out? It's a logical fallacy. And not working out for somebody else, working out for your own health. If you don't understand that you don't see old fat people, you would then realize that it's very important that you don't be a young fat person. Because a young fat person do not live to be an old fat person. So the most spiritual thing a fat person can do is work out. So I was doing, and trust me, this is basically my testimony. I done wrote books as a fat nigga. And it's cool, but at a certain point I'm doing the shadow work and my spirit like, what's up with you in this gym? What's your beef with the gym? Like, what's the problem with your health? Why you mad at your body? You so spiritual, but you can't even go to the gym? How that work? So my shadow work have always been, I don't want to go to this motherfucking gym, but I'm going to go anyway and pushing myself past that threshold. Because it's easy for me to sit back and crack open a book and talk spiritual shit with y'all. It's harder for me to put this shit to the side, go work out first before I do anything. And then, like, I got to reprioritize my mind to think more physical as being the means for me to be more spiritual. "21, can you do something for me? It is my job as a parent to have all the answers so that I can teach those answers to my children." It's nothing worse than seeing a fucking a spiritual child. I ain't like, people be like, "Did you read your kid's chart?" No, I ain't read my kids' chart. They didn't ask me to read their chart. They don't give a fuck about astrology. Well, shouldn't you teach your kids astrology? No. What if they grow up to be a Christian? I don't want them hating me for teaching them astrology. Good. You said your kid, if they might go to church. They like going to church. I'm not about to pass down. My beliefs could be full of shit. What about that? What if you're wrong and you're forcing your kids to do something that they soul don't tell them to do? So you mean that you don't indoctrinate your children? No, I let them think how they want to think. And I'm going to tell you right now, they think I'm full of shit. They don't feel me not one bit, and that's good. I'm doing a good job as a parent. I ain't about to tell them how to live their life, and I don't know how they supposed to live their life. They're going to be grown ass men one day. I just want them to know that they have my support in whatever decision that they make, even if they crash out. Because, I don't want them to crash out. And every day I try to lead them away from crashing out, but they be wanting to crash out on their own. I'll be like, damn. I tell my kids, stop fighting. You think they stop fighting because I tell them to stop fighting? Huh? I got two boys, 8 and 10. 7 in the Zor. Stop fighting. You think they gonna stop fighting? Because I tell them to stop fighting? Am I gonna feel like a bad dad because my kids fight even though I told them not to fight? They need to work together, love one another, hold each other accountable. They tell me to go to hell and they commence to beating each other's ass. That's just boys. I was a boy too. And motherfuckers gave me good advice my whole fucking life. Excellent advice. If I followed that advice, wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now. But I ain't listen. I had to learn the hard way. And that was the way my soul wanted me to learn. If I follow every advice, I wouldn't have the character that I have now. I would just be living a perfect life and I wouldn't have the understanding that I have in this moment. The chironic effect of life is going to teach you about your wounds more than it teach you about healing, because your wounds is what gives you the character to actually want to give a fuck. It's certain people that have lived a perfect and good life because they want to respect their parents and listen to their parents. Your parents don't know shit about you. You have a soul. Your parents want you to be this great person, and your soul wants you to strip. Your soul wants you to learn Forex, and your parents want you to go to nursing school. Why you gonna listen to your parents and you not listen to your soul, nigga? Listen to your soul. The final false premise, 22. And this is a good one. I can criticize successful people and still achieve my own success. You got to check yourself with this. When you see somebody, I seen some shit today before I got on this live, actually. It was a nigga, he had his two sons, and his two sons, they was wearing suits. Man, I was triggered. Because me and my sons, we be wearing baseball caps and t-shirts and shorts and shit. These niggas was in some suits, like some... They had all types of suits. I think their dad owned like a motherfucking... a suit store. So he had all the suits, and they did like the Steve Harvey meme of the different, like a black suit, a blue suit, a tan suit, a brown suit, and a gray suit. He had the suit, and his son had all the suits, and they was mixing and matching and shit. I'm like, man, I was triggered. But then I didn't allow myself to get triggered. I said, you know what? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I see that for myself. I see that for y'all. I see that in myself. I see my ability to like go beyond my limits, right? To be able to pour into my children so that shit, even for fun, even for a reel, even for a meme. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying don't educate your children. I'm saying not don't teach your children, but you don't know what the fuck these kids' souls got in store for them. So as much as you can do, be yourself, but it's not a point to indoctrinate and force your kids to do what you say do and have them respect you and listen to you like you some fucking army sergeant, especially when they adults. That's super weird. When you got grown children, unless it's business, right? If it's just like general shit, like you always got them going to the store for you and shit, guys chill on that, right? But if it's business and it's something that they passionate about, is what they soul is leading them to do, then that's an amazing and beautiful thing. But if you forcing them to do things that they wouldn't naturally want to do, but you're like, you're my kid, so you should do it, that's where you're obstructing their soul. So with and 22 is I can criticize successful people. No, you can't. You gotta look at successful people, and you know when a motherfucker's successful, you gotta see it in them the same way as you see it in yourself. And this actually works, right? The more that you can get used to giving people congratulations and being happy for people, it's like a flower that opens inside of you and just blossoms and constantly gives to you. Because the more happier you are for successful people, that opens you up for people to be happy for you when you are successful. I think one of the biggest things, biggest takeaways from these flawed premises is that life is really a mirror on how you feel about yourself. And this is so easily and quickly forgotten that we are so quick to hate other people and dislike other people. And the more we spend time in this energy, we're only reflecting our own self hate. So the more we can begin to like just really love our exes, really love our parents, really love our the ones that we love in a unconditional way. Not saying that you got to be with them or create relationships with them. I'm talking about in your heart, in your mind, develop an overall sense of love and care for everybody around you. The easier your life would be. But with that being said, I'm still waiting on my laptop to get fixed. Working on some new content. Haven't been able to type because I haven't had my computer, but we gonna get back on track this week. Hopefully, I'll be getting my shit back, but you never know. But until then, I'll continue to do lives with my phone as much as I can. Been with my kids a lot lately, so not really having the time like I usually do. But with that being said, I'm gonna still be able to drop content when I can. Be sure to visit ColumbianExchange.com. Be sure to visit WhiteRabbitPsychedelics.com. We got some new strands up there, some old strands, but got some golden teachers and Jedi back on the site. So be sure to check that out. Plant medicine is the way. The book that I was reading from was the Essential Law of Attraction collection, The Teachings of Abraham, available on Amazon for as little as like $25 or less. Very thick book, a lot of shit in this book that can help you with your law of attraction work. But with that being said, this has been the Hood Mystic with another video. Like if you liked it, share if somebody could benefit from this video, and of course, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Peace.